Hey, I had a request come through for some anterior hip tilt advice. Fantastic question, as it is such a common syndrome across the population. So let's just have a quick look at it. The anterior hip tilt is essentially your ASIS, this front part of your hip bone rolling forward, which causes a lot of tightness through here, and an inability to engage your bottom, which is often weak and also one of the primary contributors. Your pelvic floor weakness is going to help contribute to the development of this because you're unable to maintain a nice strong neutral pelvic floor and pelvic structure. As a result, your lumbar is going to correct and overcompensate for the weakness through here. So you're going to be tight at the front, tight at the back, weak through here, weak through here. So this is my go-to drills to try and get some relief. Do this as often as you can, so once or twice a day for a good couple of weeks before you get some real noticeable results. I'm going to drop straight down into a hip flexor nerve glide. I'm going to start with my right leg out front, right leg angle straight down so it's nice and solid. My left toes at the back are curled under in a track start. From here, there are 3 cues before we drop into our stretch. 1, belly button in as hard and far as you can. 2, pelvic roll, so shift that pelvis into a posterior tilt. Number 3, to stop this engagement of the muscle tissue through here, we need to work on its opposite. So really squeeze that bottom as hard as you can. Now, if this is flexion or inflection continuously with lots of tension, it's hard for your bottom to engage. So you're going to have to rub, pinch, slap, or stimulate some sensory input into your brain to get this bottom working. Then hold that bottom so it maintains that sensory input. Belly button in, pelvic floor tuck, squeeze your bottom, and then gliding forward through here. You're only going to get maybe 1 to 3 inches of movement, and you'll feel that bottom switch off as you roll forward. So try and maintain tension through that bottom. Go for about 15 to 30 seconds per side. Repeat that once or twice. We then go straight into some trigger ball release work. So think about the horseshoe. So there's the grand trochanter, big bony bit of my hip. And I'm looking at rolling all the way around that tissue, not on the bone, but behind it, all the way forward, about 4 to 6 spots. And I hold it there for about 60 seconds. Find a sore spot, move it down. You might get some referral down your leg. That just means it's a highly active trigger point. So there's a lot of muscle constriction and nerve constriction in there. Roll around, complete that horseshoe. Now here comes the most important part. We've released or glided the nerve, we've released some of the muscle tissue. Now we need to try and set that muscle in place by squeezing our bottom. So straight down on your back, and you can alternate between a few different types of glute thrusters. Feet together, knees together, pull those heels up towards your bottom, drive those hips up into the air, and go until your bottom is feeling very fatigued. You can then take your feet hip width apart, slightly further away from your bottom, driving up again into some glute thrusters. We can then work on the external rotators of our hips by bringing the soles of our feet together, knees out to the side, head back nice and relaxed, driving up, squeezing through your bottom tissue. So we're looking there to address the root cause, which is weakness through your bottom, letting you roll down into some excessively tight hip flexor muscles. Your lower back is going to be sore, but it's just trying to compensate for some weakness through here. So you can trigger point lower back to get some immediate pain relief, but then focus on some abdominal activation exercises. Now, one of the most common things with an anterior hip tilt is hamstring tension. People spend all that time stretching their poor hamstring, when in reality, it's got nothing to do with the hamstring. Hamstring's attached to the base of your gluteal fold here. As you roll forward, that hamstring is being continually lengthened by just even a shift of 1 or 2 millimeters as you come forward. As a result, you get a lot of neural tightness, which makes you want to stretch that muscle tissue. But the more you stretch it, the more relaxed it becomes, and the more its stretch or reflex response diminishes. As a result, we don't need to stretch that hamstring. We need to release through here. We need to activate through our bottom. We need to set our pelvic floor, and then we can then work on a hip hinge. So just a nice hip hinge by keeping our knees locked in, sticking that bottom back and down, building tension through our hamstrings standing up, squeezing that bottom as hard as you can. Your toes will want to spin out to the side, but we're resisting that to really engage the hip structure, and back through here. You can then progress to kettlebell deadlifts, kettlebell swings to really work on some hamstring activation and getting this whole pelvis into this position nice and strong. The anterior hip tilt.